like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? That's the way love goes. Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? That's the way love goes. Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? That's the way love goes. Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? That's the way love goes. Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? That's the way love goes. Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? That's the way love goes. Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire.
are hot, and we're ready. Hello, guys. Thank you for waiting for such a long time in the lobby. And we've been live streaming for about 15 minutes now without any content. So thank you for your patience. Really appreciate it. We didn't get the BitTube stream going today. That's on me. I've got my secondary encoder that's just not working, but we will post this to BitTube shortly. Guys, today I have with me a few guests, and I'm going to introduce us. The view that you have right now is I'm up at your 2 o'clock. So let me go clockwise here, introduce our primary guest, which is Rez from the xDrop. Rez from the xDrop project. Then I also have with me Taylor and Corey, and you may know them. You may know them by interacting with them in the Discord channel. You might not even know you've been interacting with them in the Discord channel, but we've had a phenomenal conversation this morning, and they're active in the Mind Your Biz Discord. Corey, Taylor, do me a solid. Introduce yourself to the community in like 30 seconds.
Go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, I'm Taylor. Background is financial management. Been trading professionally and non-professionally for 6 years. Involved with a private investment fund, and now just work for myself and am now full-time crypto. And a hobbyist on the side, and looking to see, maybe get into that more. And I just really aim to provide good sound quality content for the community, and educated content, because I know it's a community where people are often misinformed about the investing side and good sound principles. So that's me. Glad to be here.
Awesome. I'm glad you had a minute to hop onto the live stream. We've been chatting for like the last 2.5 hours. Privately.
Doesn't feel that long.
It's crypto, man. Everything is distorted. Awesome. So glad you were able to come onto the show and introduce yourselves, guys. Make sure that you reach out on the Discord channel. Corey, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, guys. A lot of you probably see me around Discord. Been there since the start. Been an investment manager the last 11 years. Chief technology officer at the firm as well, doing dual roles, and also an options trader, equity trader in that time frame. So, the switch over into cryptocurrency, blockchain technology is a very easy one, and very passionate about it. So it's nice to let everyone see my face. I'm not hiding anywhere. If you guys need me like you do normally, just drop on by. But please come join us if you're not in the Discord. It's a great group, very mature group, lots of terrific, transparent information that is offered.
Yeah, guys, appreciate you making some time to have some FaceTime with the community right now. Please take them up on that. Corey makes himself very available, and Taylor often makes himself very available as well. Though you may not know you've been interacting with him, he's there. He's there. So guys, appreciate you. I'm going to throw you in the lobby right now, but thanks so much for coming on to say hi.
Yep, thanks, guys.
See ya.
All right, guys, we got the main event. The man himself, Rez, from the xDrop project. Appreciate you taking some time today, brother.
Well, howdy, everybody. I don't have a cowboy hat, but howdy is a cool way to say hi.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I appreciate you being here and presenting what you're doing, all the ideas, the people, connecting everybody. That's awesome. Thanks,
man. It's I feel like there's not enough transparency in the blockchain space and in the crypto space, just in terms of highlighting projects, talking about opportunities and sometimes weaknesses, and sometimes also the strengths of projects that, that maybe don't have a $5 million marketing budget or a $10 million exchange listing budget on the side, and then just saying like, hey, does this project have merit? I think we need to have more open conversations with founders, regardless of if they stay anonymous. You may have seen the interview that I did with SpotMeCoin, for example. So anonymity and development teams, that's okay, but transparency with goals and desired outcomes, I think that's non-negotiable. We have to be able to talk about this stuff. So I appreciate you saying that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's you need that degree of communication with the different key elements behind the nature of the project, whatever that is. So if your project is not necessarily a currency, but it's this show, then you need to have the same elements. If it's a cryptocurrency project, then you better have the similar, if not the same exact elements. And if you follow our announcement thread, you could see that it started out, first of all, it started out me before our planned release, posting something saying, hey, I'm going to post this. But before I do, some of you guys might be interested or eager to know what the project's about. And I just posted a link to the GitHub.
Nice.
So it just started out like that. And someone saying, yeah, it sounds cool. If I see some screenshots, I would download it. And then, so that was the next reply. And it grew into what it is. And I think that's the nature of the blockchain as well. If you really think about it, blockchain grows with every height. And that every height is kind of, in a way, programmed. So when you see hard forks, you see a lot of changes, they're all done with that height level. Almost all of them, actually. So it's that I was referring to the blockchain as a fourth dimensional kind of a being, because it has something called feedback loops that you can use inside the application, inside the system of the information that you're creating, all the blocks. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
The more I'm learning personally about the idea of cryptocurrency and the blockchain, and not needing to trust another entity or require another entity, and you just need the A and B, like the A to B conversation that we're trying to solve. The more I become that energy in me, that childlike energy in me that just is curious and wants to do something about it comes out. So I think that is what's pushing the project forward. No one's getting paid. No, we don't have an investor that bought coins that's sitting there trying to dump these coins in an exchange. No, I'm not entertaining those 15, 20 Bitcoin in listing on these exchanges. No to all of that. If an exchange wants to grow with us, understands what we're doing, great, fascinating. If somebody likes to support something, fund something, sponsor something, if it's reasonable, I support it. But if I see that, it takes away from that decentralized. It's all about the A and B. It's all about the community aspect, the notion of it out of the project or compromises it in a way. I think as a person that cares about it the most, like the mother figure of the project, I can't let that happen.
Awesome. And I love hearing that.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm here to actually say that. Let it be your show or a forum. If it's about how I personally feel about something, especially a project like this, you're going to get the truth out of it, because that's the only way it's going to get to someone else and be appreciated.
Nice. Well, and I definitely do appreciate you making the time to do this. We're going to probably have a couple of community questions as we move forward into the interview. And I also have a few questions. If you've seen any of the other interviews with like Zencash or Bitcoin Gold or any of the projects, I ask a lot of the same questions of every project. So, so in a way, you're already prepared if you've already watched the other interviews. But just for the record, did I give you a list of questions before we started the interview?
No, that's fine. I mean, I could have done some homework and I kind of studied it. I thought I tried given the time that I had, but it also helps because it's also organic. Yeah, ask me anything. It's an AMA in that sense.
Nice. Well, I really appreciate that. And also, for the record, just to be clear, did you offer me any kind of a bounty in order for us to engage in this interview?
Nope. Nope.
Right? And it's only fair, right? I mean, if bounties aren't offered, then journalism can remain pure and organic, like you're saying. We can just have a free exchange of ideas.
Right. Are you going to benefit from this in some way? I mean, absolutely. I hope so.
Probably.
I hope so. But is that the intention behind this interview in any way, case? I don't think so. And that's why I agreed actually to have this interview with you, because you had that sense behind it. I feel that. I trust you.
Well, hey, I really appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit. Roderick, show us the face, Rez. Somebody says he's actually the real Satoshi Nakamoto. These are comments that we're getting. Maybe, guys, maybe Rez is the real Satoshi Nakamoto. We can neither confirm nor deny. But awesome. Let me throw our chat box up onto the screen. So, guys, as you make your comments on YouTube, those will show up. Let me also get rid of a couple of titles there. We really got taken off guard because of how fast this morning went. And you jumped right in onto the Zoom live stream or the Zoom chat while we were still talking as a team. But let me jump back into xDrop coin and kind of where it started. Rez, when did you see a problem that you thought, okay, I got to solve this? Or when did you identify your own itch that you wanted to scratch?
There wasn't a point. There was always a fire. There was always that spark constantly. And when you're a person who cares, and I'm not saying I care more. No, there are times that I don't care. But when you're a person that cares about a notion, an idea, something that you're driven by, you're engaged by, you're gamified by, then you're constantly thinking about it. So I'm constantly thinking about world problems because I truly, genuinely love people. I think we've made such a wonderful world. It's crazy where we're living right now. Look at everything that's around us. So constantly thinking, how can we have more of this? Not just personal wealth, collective wealth. How can we have more? Why are we having more? And when I see that there are countries in this world, people in this world who are so oppressed and they're so talented, they're actually skilled, highly skilled, and they have all means, but that road for them to excel in, it's not paved, it's censored, it's blocked, and they're limited by other people. I'm not going to get into details, but by other things outside of their control.
Yeah.
Then something comes out. I'm like, okay, if I can communicate to that person, then I'm not going to be able to help them. The most important part of communication is actually focusing. So if you can't notice someone or something, you can't help them. And if you don't notice them, you can't even communicate with them. There was actually a study done, and we can report, give you references later if anyone's interested. But they basically put a homeless person next to a church, and they had people kind of, they were watching who was helping that poor man, a homeless man, and who wasn't. And so people came and, they donated, they helped to ask how that person was doing, and some people did not. And it turned out it wasn't that they were the priests or the more spiritually dedicated person or individuals, it was none of that. It had nothing to do with anything, none of those demographics, not their income, none of that. What mattered the most is who noticed that person. Out of the people who noticed him, more people responded and helped him than anything else. It's kind of like common sense, but not really. So focus is very important. If we're able to look at these problems and really focus on what the main problem is, no, you can't point at the big thing. You got to point out the tools that those people are using. They don't have those tools. The problem that people are starting is they don't have that fishing rod and the skill to go do that. If we give them those tools, electricity, or in this sense, means of free communication, then we're really helping those people, really getting down to it.
Right. Yeah. The whole teach a man to fish principle.
Right. Exactly. And while that's happening, there's the cryptocurrency blockchain aspect of it, the actual currency that you can say, whoa, well, could they actually use a blockchain? Could they use a cryptocurrency and use a currency and mine it out? Yeah. Turns out that there's technology available that lets a person do that. There's a lot of learning curve. There's a huge learning curve. And the average person, it doesn't have the practical means to do that or know-how. And these technologies are so new and open source. So my perspective, my goal, what I'm trying to deliver is bring that practicality, connect that bridge that stops someone, your average person in that country, to actually using their phone or an app on their desktop or phone to make that happen. So in theory, all this is great. In theory, blockchain is amazing. But if you really look at all these projects, their roadmap and have they been able to deliver, what have they delivered is the most important thing. That's key. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. So let's talk a little bit about, and if we could create a high-level statement for xDrop. Roderick is right. Roderick, you're probably right. So there's a joke in my community. It's a joke that the two major signs of leadership ability is either being a woman or having a beard. And Roderick's like, well, this guy isn't a woman and he doesn't have a beard. What am I supposed to do? But guys, just take it on advisement. Rez is the leader of the xDrop, xDrop project.
I might be here, but behind me stand many strong, successful women, actually. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I am actually a nobody. I wasn't paid to be here, but I'm just a servant. I'm just a voice that just behind me, what drives me is actually that passion and that sense of know-how that, you know what, really women have. Guys are too busy chasing other things, and I think women are really down to principles more so than some men. So that's this whole nother discussion.
Right. Right. I feel you, brother. There is a moral authority that women tend to have in general. I don't want to make a sweeping statement, but that I believe you're right. I believe you're right. Let's talk a little bit about back at the beginning of the project. And Roderick says, good to know you as a boss. Yeah, I have a CFO at home as well. We all take marching orders from somewhere. But let's go back to the beginning of the project. And if we could create a high-level statement and talk about a central problem that needs to be solved and that xDrop helps to solve, would you say that it has to do with access to private and free communication? Or is there some other high-level statement that xDrop solves?
Well, there's a lot of tools already out there. As I've been pointed out to, on my natural organic ways of this, getting to know the communities. I posted something on the Monero sub on Reddit, and someone was kind enough to point me out some of the tools that are available that are P2P kind of chat conversation tools. And there are several, but none of them are cryptocurrencies. It's fun. It's fun to have an app. It's practical to have an app that you can click on mining and you actually get coins that you can use to send messages to someone and have it be stored on the blockchain. I think there's definitely some use to that. And if you're technical and a visionary like some of us, you're able to kind of see what that can turn into. And that's what the notion of a drop is, not just the currency. It's like, I'm going to be able to later on drop you in anything. I can drop you in a video call, where we can get on a video call. It's a drop, and it works on that P2P parallel to the whole cryptocurrency. And that vision, that strategy is not something that I want to say I invented, but no one's doing it. Put your money where your mouth is. You're a programmer. You know how to do this. Why aren't you doing it? You're a coin. You have 50 developers. What are you doing? I'm reading some of these. I don't want to mention any of them, but they have these group chats. And I love it because it's great. I learned from it, but one thing I really kind of see is like, what's going on? It seems like the larger the group of developers, the harder it is for them to focus on something.
Well, I mean, you do get into decision by committee territory there when you have the large group of developers. And as you know, being a project manager and a product owner, or rather product manager, that is that's a different skill set than development is. And you don't have the agility and the autonomy to just say, like, I want to go this direction, so I'm going to put in 100 hours this week and go that direction. It's just a different challenge, I think, for sure.
Right. And it takes some certain amount of dedication. The successful teams and projects have individuals, at least, or at least one individual that is not afraid of learning. So that you need to kind of learn. You're going to step in territories that you need to kind of do it yourself. And if you are not built for that, you're not going to kind of find your way out. And one thing I can share with everyone here is one of the oldest stories I've had was it's all revolving around that, where our VCR broke. Because VCR is an old device for all the new kids. That's where you rewatch movies on these large, crazy tapes that had ridiculous things that come out of it, and it just looked like aliens. And it was fun, but we could never really play with it because it was some important stuff was recorded on it. Anyways, that would break, and my parents ordered some guy to come and fix it. So I watched him fix it, and I was like, awesome! I want to learn how to do this myself. So I stuck a fork in that thing and broke it again. This time they had the guy come back, and this time I really paid attention, and I learned for the second time how he fixed it. So this time I put the fork in and broke it, and then asked my dad, and I was like, wait, don't call him. Watch this. And I fixed it. And he was like, great, like you can do it. I'm like, you know what? I just wanted to fix it.
Right. And he's also like, hey, Rez, no more forks for you.
I'm still forking. 30 years later, I'm still forking. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I love that story. Let me do a screen share here real fast, and then we pull up the xDrop website. Let's walk the audience through kind of what we got there. And I'm going to...
So let me give a disclaimer to the whole community. This site is a few days old. It's changing. If you see some language there that does not really connect the nature of our vision, let us know. I will change it. I don't want to sound like this is a tool for us to sell anything. It's just a website where we can describe and kind of let the project speak itself to the people.
Okay, awesome. So that disclaimer is out there. We know, we've been warned. Thank you for that. Let's talk a little bit about what we see here on the main page. So CryptoNote blockchain with messaging. That's the problem that's outlined right there. And is that the only thing that you're wanting to highlight with the website today?
Oh, are you asking me or?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, it's simple. It used to be, decentralized, untraceable, encrypted, all that. But you know what? Keep it simple. It's just the biggest. Hi, my name is Rez. Am I going to tell you more in the beginning? No, just hi, my name is Rez. Maybe you're in a hurry. Maybe you just want to know, okay, so what is this? Oh, it's another crypto node. People might not like crypto node. It's something you've committed to for now. And are we going to change that? We could totally change that. Blockchain is something you can engineer like anything else. So, but this is what we are right now. These are the tools we've used right now. So if you have some kind of a know-how, you know what a crypto node is, I think they would appreciate it to actually see, okay, it's a crypto node blockchain, but hey, they do messaging. Interesting.
Okay.
So that's what that means. And awesome. This wasn't how it was. It kind of came to be after some feedback. And if you guys have feedbacks, I would totally hear it. This is a community website.
Nice. Okay, so that's good to know. And do you are you active on Discord? Is there a Discord community for the xDrop project?
Yes, there is a Discord community. And if you scroll down, and I know people don't like scrolling, it's a website, you can see the links.
Okay.
And under links, you'll be able to find Discord.
There it is. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm actually live. I'm going to copy and paste that into the comment section over at YouTube. So if you guys would like to, you can go ahead and check that out right now. So that should be live. And okay, great. So good to know that they can get a hold of you there and that you're very open to communication. The community very responsive over there on Discord?
Yeah, I would say that's our main community. The Discord and Telegram, they're both great. Discord seems to be more organized due to these channels and some of the functionalities that they add. So I love Discord.
Yeah, I have to agree. I have a Facebook group, and I feel so bad if anybody's visiting from the Facebook group for Mind Your Biz. I've basically ghosted Facebook entirely in favor of Discord because of how much more logically everything is laid out, and the ability to track multiple conversations as opposed to having it just be like an endless stream of spaghetti.
Yeah. Well, in a way, I'm not surprised because, let's focus on the gaming part of it. Discord came out of the gaming community. And the gaming industry was the first to perfect human design, by the way. So when you see the notion of gamification, which is a great strategy for marketing to maximize engagement, they've broken down this whole system of how do you maximize engagement. And they've learned so much from the gaming industry. So as a gamer myself, I'm not really active anymore, but as an ex-gamer myself, I appreciate what gamers have done for the community and everything else. And as you can see, this was a perfect example of a byproduct of the industry just being so carefully designed around human needs.
Nice. Yeah, totally agreed. Even with GPU mining, it's funny, we talk about like, oh, this GPU is so much better than that GPU. And it's like, you do realize that most of the innovations that have hit the graphics compute industry have been driven by the enthusiast and gaming market. We wouldn't have all these cool GPUs if it weren't for gamers.
Yep.
So yes, go gamers. We love you. We're just going to buy all your GPUs. So let's talk a little bit about the beginning of the project again. Why a new fork? Why a new token? Rather, why a new fork of this coin? Why a new project? And as opposed to, say, for example, finding another crypto note that maybe has the resources, the personnel, the funding, the technology, or in some other way, the pedigree or the qualification to realize this vision. Why not become a strong vocal faction of that group and attempt to create change there? Excellent
choice. And that was my first choice. You don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. I don't believe that. I don't believe in reinventing anything. Unless you're trying to learn a concept and it's for practice reasons. you don't necessarily need to do that. In business, it's best to use tools. So why have we not just joined another project? Well, definitely consider joining some projects. However, when carefully looking at these projects, certain things about the projects were complete turn-offs to the point where we could not, they were just deal killers.
Okay, without naming names, what were some of the deal killers?
Yeah, I don't mean to actually point out at a specific project. We're talking about ideas here, so I'm going to go about it on that level. The idea of having a cryptocurrency behind this kind of a project and having the cryptocurrency emitted or distributed 80% or even anything larger than 20% in the first year to those early adopters prevents the idea, the product itself being that P2P, being that easy to mine, easy to access solution that needs to be, especially for communications. So if it was a financial tool, well, I would beg to differ. It would not be the case. But something like communication where you do need to at least have, for example, one drop in this case to make all the messages possible and you're fine with it, but you need at least that one drop. If you're on a network where they haven't really cared for that and ASIC machines are getting all the hashes, and you as an average person using your laptop can't get any coins, that you can't even send any messages, or the messages cost is too high in that network, then it doesn't mean to me, as through my logic, that they cared for the practicality, the utility of it.
Right. It's almost like a cash grab where like, ooh, look at it as a feature. But it's all pay to play to that level.
Come prove me wrong, and if any of these projects want to make me feel different about it, and I although I'm not going to drop a project that already started, but if they've changed their minds, I would like to be updated on that. Definitely let me know. But when I do see that there's two other projects that are very similar, we're all the folks, we're all cousins, and one of them is just gone. They're barely making any development for the number of developers they have and all the resources they have. They had an ICO and everything. So you best have something, and nothing's being barely anything's being done. There's a lot of marketing and the community is active because look, they bought and they invested into the coin. So you do see that. And the other one is they're doing okay. However, not much. They haven't upgraded to a different mining algorithm. They're actually ASIC friendly. So what are you going to do? I'm not going to go support that. I can't. I really care for that person being able to use the wallet to mine, to use that to send a message if they need to, because their access is on the line. Because they need to find a way to send that, and they need to make sure that it's on somewhere that's not going to disappear. All these other P2P solutions without the cryptocurrency aspect of it, they're great. But look, when you have an economy behind it, it solidifies it. Blockchain technologies add a different degree of stability, long-term stability, if done right, because you created an economy behind it. The users are its investors. So if you play out your cards right, which I think we're giving it a shot, then what you're able to see is being able to leverage that technology to meet the community's demands and requirements and have that transparency within the project, not necessarily me removing my eyeglasses, no, but within the project, to be able to kind of, let your passions speak for themselves. If you see me up 20 hours a day, you know it. Look at me on Discord. I'm always green. I'm always there. I have a lot of things I got to do after this and nonstop. I've been like this. I even had a wedding that I did it myself, and it was a destination wedding. And right before and after that was this project. I've been working nonstop, and I'm not planning on stopping.
Nice. Okay, so it sounds like then really joining any of the projects was just not an option because at the bottom line, you felt like the price of participation in the additional features was too high to make it accessible for participants. And then on the other side, the means of mining and hash rate distribution are becoming too centralized via ASICs.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I can totally get behind that, man. I agree with both. There's no reason to gouge users this early in the game. I mean, people talk about this being like the early .com era of blockchain. I don't know that it's early .com era.
I can see the similarities, but if you want to directly compare it, you can't directly compare apples and oranges or bananas, especially.
Right.
It's just different. They're different. But yeah, you feel that, when In theory, so I knew all of this, but in practice, when I started using xDrop to send messages, and I was actually depending on it with my communications within my own circle, then I started feeling liberated. That's when it really hit me, okay? That's when I really realized what it means to be on a P2P network, but more so, it's really weird. If we're having a conversation, most likely online, anywhere online, most likely there's someone else there, some other entity that's recording a conversation. How would you feel if we're just standing around having a conversation? There's a guy in a suit with sunglasses with a microphone. He's recording everyone. At the end, he looks at us and he just goes. You don't know where he goes, but he just goes. And there's your content. You don't know how it's going to be used.
Yeah.
And now, AI and everything else, they know more about you than you know yourself.
Yeah.
Do we need that? I think that should be an option. I think if it brings even benefits, I respect that, but that should be an option. Let us give another option that doesn't have that. It's kind of the other end of the spectrum. Let us find means to be self-sufficient so that we can communicate to each other, so we can drop in anything on top of each other, whether it's going to be anything new, a whiteboard. Let me drop in something super cool. Let me drop in a game invitation. Let's use drop. Let's use a cryptocurrency. Let's use blockchain. Let's focus and build around the usability of it, the practicality of it, because the finance and everything else, it's fun. We'll all benefit anyways, if done right.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I totally agree. There needs to be something else that draws people into these projects, because if it's strictly financial, I mean, if it were only for financial means, then we probably should have stopped somewhere around Ethereum, right? Like, we probably should have stopped a few years ago, maybe.
Absolutely.
But
well said.
So that's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the initial problems that you needed to solve first, or that you wanted to solve first when going this route. And maybe I should ask before then, what exact blockchain are you a fork of? Is it Bitcoin or Monero or some other crypto node?
Well, I would say it's a fork of Digital Note. And Digital Note is an older version of crypto note that's available right now. So XDN was Digital Note, which was Duck Note or Dark Note, and they are also a fork of Bitcoin. So you can see the family tree over there. But what ended up happening was XDN focused on building these extra messaging protocols inside the crypto node. So they write all the scripts and updated it, and they've done a fantastic job. But this was back in 2015-16 and have been maintained. And this is why I put quotes, because what does that really mean? The more you connect it to your users' needs, that's the more main maintenance you're going to do, because you care more about the little details. But if you're not really connected, then you're going to be like, well, there it is. It's a solution. It worked. I used it, 2016. It worked. It should work still. Well, you're not really connected. And this is where that happened. That separation was the biggest reason.
Rez, can I just ask you, I apologize for the interruption. Can I ask you, does the name Jacob Stewart mean anything to you?
Pardon, can you repeat that again?
Does the name Jacob Stewart mean anything to you?
No, I don't know that name.
Okay.
It could be why?
Because someone is attempting to join the Zoom chat. I think.
Well, I mean, it might be a community member. I might not memorize everybody. Actually, Stewart sounds familiar. Okay,
got it.
Bring him. Yeah, I think that's.
Okay, I'm gonna pull him into the stream really quickly.
Sure.
Jacob.
Yeah, there you go.
Jacob, I see that you have video enabled, but not audio. So you let us know when you've got audio enabled. And this is your second attempt getting into the chat room. And guess what? You made it. So let us know when you. I'll see when you have your microphone enabled. So apologies for the interruption, but we have another party joining the party. All right.
Maybe not.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. Okay, interesting. Yeah, very interesting. So he's back in the waiting room. Alrighty, so apologies for the interruption there. As far as the first problem you wanted to solve, you forked from Digital Note, which has a couple of rebrands from Duck Note and Dark Note, and is now Digital Note. I think hopefully this sticks right for the rest.
However, so what happened was initially I started toying around with the concept of Fork Note. Fork Note is a more modern crypto note. It's actually a wonderful group of supporters that I definitely thank and give credit to. They provide a lot of tools for coin developers or enthusiasts to create their own coins. However, their extension of the messaging capabilities is not compatible with Bytecoin coins. So while I was creating forks from Bytecoin, just toying around with it, I realized that no, I cannot have that utility aspect of it out of this, even though it's newer than XDN, the new Bytecoins, it was not compatible. So I forked XDN before their patches. They patched recently to change their mining algorithm to variant 1. Now they're using CryptoNut variant 1, and they're not using this before. So when I forked from them, they were not using CryptoNut variant 1. And when I got back from the occasion, I noticed that they had posted an announcement after a couple of years of being inactive, really. And it was wonderful for the coin and everything. Unfortunately, I'd already forked, and I was already looking into the chain, into all the code and everything, and teaching myself everything I needed to get everything going, and that some people were already invested. Now, whether it's you right now mining 50 coins or someone mining 50,000, that investment is an investment. And I take that sincerely, and I respect that. So
I'm glad that you say that too, because I think there's a huge rift actually between the TAs and then the traders and then miners, where there's a strange view of miners as somehow not being investors. And, miners that have $10,000 worth of GPUs that they purchase for mining, how is that not an investment? Right? And then the price of electricity, at least in the lower 48, ranging from, up to 20 cents per kilowatt hour, all the way down to hopefully, if you're in like Washington or wherever, maybe 4 cents. But
nice.
But yeah, agreed. Like the OPEX and the CAPEX, those are real investments. They're investments in a business, though. It's just different. So,
right.
So I appreciate your view.
We need to regard that. We can't just avoid it or dust it off. That's not how we build strength within any community. We need to acknowledge every contribution. And that's what I did. So I couldn't just say, hey guys, that was just a test, and we're gonna restart everything all over again. There was no need for that. Now, one thing that happened was while we were testing and playing around, I didn't announce because at the time there were some issues. You can see here, xDrop is born, and after that, there's been some time that passed before a Bitcoin Talk announcement. Because during that time, some coins, CryptoNode coins, were under attack. And there were new young coins, and they had to really suffer out of it. And that's something I have to take care of. If I have a project I'm responsible towards, that's something I have to consider. So therefore, before announcing anything, I made sure that our fork of the variant 1 was a successful one. Was that something that we can actually say, okay, our chain is fully upgraded and no problems, no issues, before I can make an announcement. And this is exactly what happened. During that time, we also upgraded our fork, our coin, even though it wasn't even announced. And we made an announcement. And the only thing that came out of it was, the missing question mark was like, okay, well, you by the time you announced, there was like a 20 or 16 whatever million coins that are now missing. Miners can't get. What happened to that? And there's a simple recalculation of the initial pre-mined coins going from 10% to something around 11.6263%, which none of it has been used except some to maintain our main pool and make sure everyone's paid. And aside from that, nothing's been used. And if one drop of that is going to be used, it's going to be used for the community, by the community, in fact. So,
I love that. I love that with the name of the coin, you can say that. Not one drop has been used.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right. Or droplet, I should say. Because, we have droplets and drops. So, yeah.
Nice. So that's fantastic. Let me ask, as far as the team right now, is there anybody else that is working on this project that you either can highlight or whose work you can speak of right now?
Yeah, I have a couple of good friends of mine. One of them, actually, one of my best friends, and he's a very capable individual. He's got several degrees. One of them is a medical doctor. He's a genius in many levels. He's also a programmer. Very, very good at what he does. And he is a big supporter of this project. He's also a developer as well. He's also very busy. He can't full-time commit himself. But him just being involved on the degree that he is definitely something that people should know and consider when evaluating this project, and who he's connected to. So we may not initially have hundreds of people through seminars and conferences, but the select few that we have are quality connections with quality connections behind them. And I think that's perfect for an organic growth to grow. So his background in development actually is heavy in VR and mobile. He's going to take control and lead the mobile development that we're going to have. If you look at other coins like this, a lot of people talk about their mobile apps coming out, later than sooner. Our roadmap right now, if you follow down, it's way too late because this is a tentative roadmap. It changes as we get more development power.
Yeah.
But if we go the way we're going, I'm going to shoot for that, and I'm going to probably beat that by like a lot, like every other like milestone we've had. So those things you have to know and ideas to have of what to look forward to. But this is a very fast-growing, active cryptocurrency project that if I was to really modify this on an hourly basis, it would take too much time.
Got it. Okay, so it looks like then where we are today, just going into Q3, you've got the Block Explorer launched. The new roadmap is here. Yes. So this is recent. But now, sometime between now and August, you're hoping to have a comprehensive white paper that outlines the technology and the problems that you're solving.
Exactly.
Okay, and then same with exchange listings sometime between now and September, because I keep getting questions about that in the comments section, is about exchange listings and price.
Yes. There is actually something called over-the-counter trading, OTC. I think it's a wonderful time to kind of dabble into that. I might do that myself, actually. It's cool. It's fun. And let the project have its many stages. If you're going to expect an announcement to be made and an exchange to follow up a week after that, well, it takes some fun away. Although I agree, some people are just interested and excited, and I mean nothing wrong about wanting an exchange. That's good. But having the right exchange and having the right timing to be a part of that exchange is also very crucial to a successful project.
Yeah. On that note, what do you think about Vitalik's opinion on centralized versus decentralized exchanges?
I think it's fascinating. I think it's good to have both as an option. I think you're going to see a lot more decentralized solutions coming out, whether it's exchanges or anything else. So if you have a decentralized exchange that has all the bells and whistles and in the foundation that decentralized apps have, I can expect it to at least be as successful, if not more.
Nice. So it sounds like for today with Dropcoin, it is OTC only.
Right now, yes, OTC only. I'm in talk with some exchanges. I'm not want to really say anything, but August is coming up, so
nice. And
we're going to deliver. Who do we choose and how they work with us? It depends on two things. This is a partnership. We're choosing an exchange. So I don't like to get involved with anyone and sleep with them the first night. Unless they're extremely hot, okay? If they're extremely hot, I'll make an exception. So yeah, Binance hits me up and says, yeah, you want to be on this exchange? I'll take that risk, everybody. We're going to Binance. But with what's been offered to us, and I do not disrespect that, it's perfectly fine. People don't have time to really dig in and ask the questions that they ought to at times, even though a good exchange would do that's part of their due diligence. But these exchanges are just new too, and they want to make some capital too and pay back their investors. I appreciate that. I see that. However, we'll get to see, pick and choose who's understanding of us, so we can be understanding of them.
Nice. I love that analogy, by the way. That's hilarious. So I've seen T-Boy Lead in the comments mention that he can actually see the network hash rate increasing during our interview by 1/7. So clearly having you on camera is helping the network right now. You're getting some miners. You're winning hearts and minds for the mining community.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad. You know what? I'm not speaking. It's really the passions behind it. Right? I want to get back to development right now. This is the phase I'm in. I have to take some time to go handle some accounting to take care of some things that need to be taken care of as well. But you can see someone really cares, and I can vouch for that. You see it. I'm right there. That's going to take this and make it more real. Put it on the exchanges. You're going to have your white paper that actually says, okay, what is it we're trying to do? What is it that we're using? Where are we going to go? Who are we? You're going to see all of that. Are you going to see more of us? You bet it. You bet. Like, Seth is awesome. His team is awesome. Every single community member that's come and voiced their concern, feedback, anything, that's awesome. You're putting effort in there. That's effort. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate you doing this. And helping to answer these questions for the community. And it's being reflected right now. That's prompting action in the community. So let me ask, as far as problems that you want to solve right now, you've got the roadmap right here. It looks like exchange listing potentially over the next month or two. And then web wallet, it looks like it's another problem you want to solve soon. Q4, mobile wallet, more exchanges, etc. It's kind of essentially, it seems like there's a bit more of an extension of the problems that you're solving now. But then, yeah, it looks like 2019 is where like the really tough problems are for solving. Is that about right? I mean, right now you're trying to get established.
And that's, again, it's a tentative roadmap. What that means is it's constantly changing given the resources that we have. And we have access to a lot of resources, but they're being allocated differently for different milestones because it makes sense. You don't want to give a baby a Ferrari. You don't want to do that. What is it going to do with a Ferrari? Even if it's a Ferrari toy. You want to buy a baby all kinds of expensive stuff. It doesn't need that. It needs your care. So give it its care. That's what it needs. After that, when it gets older, it needs more. But I think, there's a suitable age and time or a state of readiness that I think projects have. And if you respect that, you're close to that, you can feel that, then you got your eye on your project. And I think we have that with this project.
Phenomenal. Let me ask you this then. As far as the next problem that this project needs to solve, Corey's saying that clearly, Rez, you haven't been on Tinder very much. we need Tinder for exchanges, don't we? I guess.
Tinder is crazy. Tinder is. We can talk about that sometime for sure.
Yeah, maybe on the Monday show. Monday show. But yeah, maybe. Today let's talk a little about what's going to go into that white paper and the next big technological hurdle that you want to overcome, technological problem that you want to solve, or that you want to outline in the white paper. Some technologies regarding privacy, right, or regarding messaging, or regarding some of the future roadmap details. What are some technological hurdles that you have outlined to overcome next?
So, when looking at what we have, our resources, and how we can connect that, the problem is connecting the technologies that are out there with, again, the practical uses of it. So if you want to have us drop in a call, or if I want to drop in a YouTube video onto your wallet, I can just copy and paste a YouTube URL and send it you as a message. You have to highlight, copy, and send it. Or we can actually have the wallet kind of be an API. Use the APIs that are available. So you don't need to use a server. You're a client that connects to any centralized server, but then you have this hub. So what the problem is, how do we turn a wallet, a cryptocurrency wallet, into a hub? And if you look at closely to what we've developed, we launched this announcement with a new wallet. We new customized wallet that's completely different than all the other wallets, with given functionalities, added functionalities that add to that practicality of it. So the problem we're trying to solve is to make it more practical. All these technologies are great. We can build a lot of things on there, sure. But yeah, open it up first and foremost. Open up your blockchain within your developer group, your teams, so they're able to access whatever they needed. C++ programmers, Java programmers, web programmers, so they can get to what they need and then kind of build that synergy, which with a project like this is you need to inspire people to want to learn and teach themselves. There is no diagram I can show someone about crypto nodes. No one's illustrated or broken this down and says, this is this code, this is that code. So as a developer, you're working with code all over the place and you have to make sense of it yourself. So you have to study it. So if I'm working with other developers, I have to inspire them to want to study it. That's the first and foremost. So we have to inspire each other. First of all, there's the cause behind this. There are people, there's momentum. We have more and more interest. So all that's happening. There's going to be more of us. Outside of that, we have a path. We have a strategy. We're professionals. There's a way we're going to do this. And all that's going to be laid out. It's laid out internally between the developers as we have talks. Some of them are overseas, so their hours are very different. My background allows me to communicate on that level because I've worked with outsourcing groups many, many times throughout the different ventures that I've had. So that's important to know how to communicate with those teams and access to those resources. The partners that we have in this project right now, I wouldn't want to say mutual enthusiasts in the project, because they're the initial ones that really care to come for that Starbucks meeting every day And to me, that's as dear as someone putting in a lot of money, because to that person, that could be their way. And to the other person, him was spending that hour every day and caring about a project is their form of investment. So those investors are all highly regarded, but they are key people with so much to give to a project, to any project, that a lot of what's going to pan out comes from that as well. And that's exciting stuff. Those are the kind of development level and criteria that you see with some major platform level cryptocurrency projects. So it's heavy development on the C++ level to actually build a project on a very custom level and connect to businesses to create models for a project for it to be self-sustainable and other things around it. So just because it's nonprofit, which it is, doesn't mean that it cannot succeed. Doesn't mean you cannot use some of these tools to benefit and to be more successful. So having that background, being an entrepreneur, being a CTO of many different companies and CEO of some of the startups, and even funded some of these, I understand the lingo, I understand the community, and having that kind of presence or presentation done from the community to me about cryptocurrency, these different wonderful communities, how they introduced their values to me, touched me enough to want to respect that and give back and play by those rules, because those rules is what everything is developed on.
Right.
What it means to be centralized, why we have to be centralized is why we're here. So if you want to fork this, go ahead. I'm not one to shine that or frown upon that. This is how we got here. This is evolution. Okay, this is surely that.
Right.
If you want to join this and join the team, awesome. If you want to take something we've done and add it to your own project, great. This is how we got here.
Nice. So let me make sure that I'm picking up what you're throwing down. We talked a bit about some background here, which I think is phenomenal. Having that skill set to be able to wrangle an international team of collaborators and developers is huge. It's invaluable. And seeing that firsthand with some other projects like SnowGem, right? And their lead developer who's currently in Vietnam, but also has collaborative development taking place in Eastern Europe. And then, of course, has fans and community around the world and in the United States for advocacy. So starting where you are and being able to wrangle that team internationally, I know will be huge in overcoming certain hurdles and in testing your network and in overcoming the next technological challenges that you overcome. But what I heard as far as the next problem you want to solve is that it has to do with some of the core, laying out a roadmap for core functionality of the wallet and turning it into something of a hub. You even invoked the idea of having an API for your wallet so that, for example, if I were a Chrome plugin developer, if I wanted to create kind of like a snipping tool or a bookmarking tool as a Chrome plugin, that I could potentially do a drop from Google Chrome.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, so publishing an API so that you invite further development from third parties to do integration. Exactly.
That's exactly what I meant by a hub. So expect plugins, expect the kind of a marketplace and an area of that kind of a development strategy from ground up. Except that kind of consideration, to say the least. So yeah, it's exciting because that's what it should be used for. If you have a tool and it's done right, the blockchain itself is going to be worked on. Then you have how you're using the blockchain, how you're using these messages, and you're working on the different GUIs communicating to each other using different modules. Then you have everything you need. Essentially, I can have a social media, a social network inside the wallet, where you load the wallet and you have your social network. You have a wall. I have a wall already. My messages is my wall. But I have like thousands of messages. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm a #1 fan of this project. I have to be.
Right.
I do this myself. I love communicating, whether it's on here, Discord, Telegram. The more, the merrier. I have all the apps. Tell me more. Tell me more ways which we can communicate.
Nice.
See, I wasn't like this all the time. I learned the value of it. And I think once people learn the value of communication, they get to at least appreciate us trying to do this and create an economy around it using cryptocurrency.
Nice. Well, definitely appreciate that is one of the next problems that you want to solve. I've got some comments down here on YouTube. referring to one of the major pain points for noobs getting into cryptocurrencies and even just approaching blockchain technology is the user experience of wallets.
Yes,
right? It's
exactly.
just, it throws so many people, right? Like, wait, I have to do what to do what? I have
Exactly.
to have,
Whoever
what's
posted
this?
that,
What's this
right
demon
on.
running in the background? It's like
Exactly. Like what WTF, WTH, what am I doing? So what is this? So like really we have a lot to cover. And when it comes to mobile, you can definitely know and guess that mobile is number one priority for us. So it's important for me to say, yeah, my best friend is the genius mobile developer that I know that I'm going to at least consult to get this up and running. There's so many tools and programs already available.
right.
There's so much we can't do.
Please tell me you're not referring to PhoneGap, please.
Yeah, no. Simple mobile web would be better than PhoneGap these days. Even though I'm not dogging PhoneGap, I have built PhoneGap applications that are good.
Well, like you said, baby steps. But PhoneGap was the car. It was the Ferrari that was given to babies in 2011.
It's good for a proof of concept. It's perfect for a proof of concept. Let's not give it away. If you have a project, a startup project, and your pre-seed money investment is about 500K, which is how it is, then yeah, you would have that 50K, budget to have a proof of concept build, so you can build a business around it. You better be smart to have that kind of a budget. So let's not shoot it for what it is. But are we going to have a phone gap? I hope not.
Right. Well, and that's just it. Like, well, functioning at the level that you are with the community support, strong community support, what you have is an opportunity to create massive traction. And I'm going to speak about this at a startup level now, knowing that you have this background. Let's switch gears here and pretend like everybody who's tuned in right now that this is a potential investor panel. I mean, disclosure, I'm not giving financial advice. I don't think you're giving financial advice. And we're not actually pitching to a room of qualified investors. But let's pretend like we were. Like you mentioned before, miners are giving a form of investment. So knowing that they're going to be investing in your project with their sunk cost mining rigs, right? And with their OpEx, right? Every month paying that power bill. And then with adoption, right? Actually utilizing the network and showing traction. So we'll translate it back into startup language, showing that you have the traction so that if you needed to, if push came to shove and you just said, you know what, help us get to that next milestone, $3 million. That would really help us. How do we go ask for it? Traction, right? User-based traction. So let's kind of frame it that way and talk a little bit about with this future roadmap and the people who are currently contributing to the code base, what outside of your personal motivation, and it's clear that you have that passion, what drives a contributor to the xDrop project? What drives them to get up out of bed every morning and say, like, all right, we don't have $3 million necessarily. We don't have this seed money. There's nothing public about an ICO where we're dipping into funds to do development. What gets them out of bed and gets them thinking, all right, it's xDrop today. I'm doing this. I love this. I want to make this happen.
There's that core drives that gamification is built on. You have to be gamified. You have to be engaged. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not like being manipulated. Don't get me wrong. I know some people might think there's a negative notion behind it. There really isn't. Ideally, we don't want to identify what's going on in your life. We all gamify. The whole notion of money, to have currency, to work for money, is something you're engaged in. Your core drives have been met. There's psychology behind it. So yeah, if we understand that, and we understand why, I have to understand why I'm so engaged, and connect with those core drives, and communicate those core drives to other people who have shared interests in cryptocurrency, in cutting-edge technologies, in interesting, lucrative, investments. Hey, I have that interest too. Am I saying this is an investment project? Not financially right now. There's no exchanges, so I can't even say that. There's none of that. But you can invest your time and efforts into it, and it's best to invest your time and efforts into something that you can see other people doing the same thing. So if I have something to invest, my time, my efforts, I'll ideally look for projects that have similar people also investing that much. I don't want to be spearheading a project that or taking, carrying the weight of the whole project when other people are taking the equal credit and not really putting in much. It's common sense.
Right.
So what you do see, you feel, and this is not something you see, and I'm inviting people to come check it out, because this is not something I'm going to go buy advertisements for. Not yet. That's not, the CEO will do this if there is going to be a hired CEO to do so. That's different. This is a project at this state. So you're going to not see any of that, and I hope not, because we're growing the way we like to so far. And the whole point is, you feel that, okay, whether or not I want to invest or not, I'm curious because they're moving. Let's see where they're going. Looks like they wanted to do some stuff.
Got it. So it sounds like at this point, the rallying cry is passion for this vision, and that's what's drawing everybody to it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
There's
a passion behind the vision and how far we've gone so far, given the challenges. So even having a block explorer is not commonly found with XDN type of coins. The other project is that they custom made their own blockchain explorer, or they use the other coins. The whole development and of what's available right now is a big question mark to me still, because you know what, I don't want to doubt myself, but I started fairly late. So if I know people have been around for 2-3 years, I want to expect more. Because if you've been looking at the same code I've been looking at for the amount of time I've been looking at it, you know there's what's wrong with it and what you can build from it. What I'm wondering is why it hasn't been done yet, and what's stopping people from doing it. If they need money, then they're doing it wrong to begin with. They need to find out someone who wants to do this because there's a cause behind it. And this is what this project is. This project is a result of that person wanting to do it and did it and posted it out. And I can submit something so you can see based on all the competitors and other people, other projects, not to even put them down. They're doing great too. But we need to show people where we stand so far, what we have. You can initially go and download right now what you're playing with. It's an ASIC resistant, and there's really no such a thing as ASIC resistant, but it's using Monero's new algorithm. It's using the variant 1. So it's doing that so you can be protected. Know that those new, Antminer machines are not going to work on this. You don't have that issue.
Nice.
You can use nice hash. That's fine. That's fair. People invest in nice hash. They're spending money on those things. I respect that. That's fine. You can say the same thing about ASIC, but it's kind of unfair. There's a large margin. That margin is not fair enough. I can't accept that.
Right.
So I have to. That's part of the things we do is that. And the community itself is a real cryptocurrency community. Like a lot of other examples, like Dogecoin, it's a real community. People behind it really love the technologies to move forward.
Right, but it's great how it's great how it started, and it's great how the community has been brought together. In the case of Doge, to been brought together to say like, we've come this far, let's make it into something. It started as a joke, but that's great. Let me ask a couple of questions, and we'll do this in kind of a bonus like lightning round, okay?
Okay.
Because I don't want to take up your entire morning. So does anyone have a link for the website to xDrop? Let me put that in the comments right now while you guys are asking. There we go. So that should be in the comments right there, xDrop.io. And let me ask you a couple of lightning round questions. The first is ASIC resistance. From a general standpoint, why does that even matter? Because some would say it's all about network hash rate and that pools create a greater threat.
They're absolutely right. But also keep in mind, you have to consider for that project, this per project, a project like this where we value and we want the end user to be able to mine at least some coins on their average PC to use it to communicate as a utility token. Well, then I better care for it. I better make sure that ASIC cannot come and mess that up. And I always test it. I have a machine that's just running, and it's an average desktop getting about 50 hashes a second. That's an average computer. And once I see that's not making enough for messaging, you bet that's going to change some things. We want to change because it needs to get on that level. So what that means is that's what we're playing. That's the game that we're playing. You're not going to expect large block rewards. You can't expect that. I don't think that goes about it. You're not going to see huge emission curves with crazy, insane number of coins distributed in the first year, because not many people are going to hear about this in the first year. You have to be. I can't develop something, design and cater, and just for that hype that these projects get. That's not the truth of the matter.
Got it. Okay, so it sounds like then you want to maintain a high degree of utility with your blockchain. And so ASIC resistance in a very personal way, ASIC resistance for xDrop matters because you need to, it sounds so corny to say be aligned with Satoshi's vision, right? Of one CPU, one vote. But you want people to be running, nodes, you want people to be running wallets, you want people to be participating on every level. And it seems like ASICs, they pose a threat to that because ASICs don't run wallets.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Most GPU miners right now, they're in our community. They're also the investors. I consider everybody like that an investor, like I said before. And they have wallets. We have a channel in our Discord server, Seth Exchange, Wallet Exchange. I'm not sure if I've seen it anywhere else. Go post your wallet because I want to send, and I'm the first one to go and send a message to you. Because because I don't know your background. I don't know you because it's so wonderful to connect to someone new, especially when you're ready to make that connection.
That is awesome. Yeah, that is very awesome. I know there are very few communities that are leveraging whatever messaging capabilities are currently available in whatever privacy coin wallets. I don't think that there's utilization of those nearly to the degree that you're talking about, where you're actively encouraging the community to participate in that kind of messaging. So, bravo. This is important.
So, as you pointed out, collectively, actually, generally speaking, I also am interested in bringing non-crypto members, users, first-time crypto users inside the community, introducing them to the community. So you're going to see a different approach. So I'm going to have an installer for the wallet set up. We might have a lighter version of the wallet that doesn't have mining built in, so they don't have to worry about the antivirus programs. It's all about that practicality. We have that as a top value. Mobile app, like I said, is a top value. Working with APIs is a top value. Opening up the blockchain is a top value. Encouraging the communities to work with us, to communicate and being in contact with us is a top value. Understanding the code base and being in touch with people behind our code base. The CryptoNote family is a top value. We're part of it. We benefit from them. We can also benefit them. As I said in one of the posts that we made in Monero, it's that exchange, us using Monero getting benefit from some of the forks is not something that should be frowned upon. That's something that we should cherish and celebrate. That's how everything's made, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So I got Roderick Crawford mentioning in the comments, and I totally agree that simplicity is the creator of adoption, and everything that you can do to simplify that onboarding experience for wallet usage is a step in the right direction, including partial nodes, right? And having not forcing users to download become a full node or download a full copy of the blockchain.
And you can clearly see that in the GUI wallet. If you run it, some features have been actually removed because they're unnecessary to that kind of a user. So they don't need to know what a mixin is. Even if they care to know it, that's different. Yeah, we're going to have advanced capabilities and functionalities, but not at this stage because you can see our priorities because of that. Because that is not a priority. Our priority is to make it easy, just a simple checkmark if you want to save that message on the blockchain. If not, you're sending a free message that gets deleted. And your wallet better reflect that. Your transactions better show those things. So these things that I haven't been able to unfortunately see in any wallet. There's transactions, and each transaction has a state, by the way. You have an active state, deleted state, failed state, and some, I think there's one more state. I forgot. But you don't see that in the wallets. And it's interesting that as soon as I added it, it made sense. Oh, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, good. I don't have to paste everything in the Blockchain Explorer or go on it. Need to trust even this because we have to alleviate that. I don't want them to trust that the available balance is that. I wanted to know. I wanted to see everything else has failed. Go take a calculator, calculate everything. You will see the total is total.
Nice. Oh, that's phenomenal. Yeah. So having the transparency of the network in communicating to you the state of a given transaction, huge. Yeah. This is great. So definitely, I mean, so we started the interview with me kind of not knowing very much, and I did this to keep it organic and fresh and make sure that there was proper discovery on my part. But I got to tell you, Rez, from everything that we're talking about, I like your project more and more. This is great. I think it's a really great direction. And yeah,
I think we're finding something in common here. and I appreciate it. I cannot help but to respect it. So I cherish that. I like you and your team, like I said. I even like the people that joined YouTube. Anyone that sees the need to connect to someone and not to avoid them is someone that I actually commend. So if anyone has that vision, you want to contribute to that, join, please. We're looking for developers. There's a lot of little things people can do, even if they can do something that's as simple as anything. We're going to have a very good, complete, thorough bounty program. And I'm looking forward to that, releasing that to the community. So definitely look forward to that.
Very cool.
That drops are hard to come by. They really are. So if you go into the OTC channel, you can see the few drops that are for sale right now. They're going at a hefty price, and as they should. Good luck getting any drop from anybody that has it. So, and if anyone wants to kind of dabble in to see if they want to sell it, that's different. But it's just an exciting project. I am looking forward to working with exchanges, the other key people behind these ideas and these projects. It's the people behind these things that really do matter. And I'm personally thankful for meeting you, Seth, and your team, and everybody else that I'm going to also meet through this.
Oh, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Rez. Let me just ask, and we'll press that issue right now. While we got a live audience, you're working as the core developer of the project right now. You have an additional developer, your friend, that's doing the mobile development. Where is the greatest need for development right now? If you were to issue a call to community action for contributors, where would you say, what would the core competencies need to be for a developer who wants to contribute?
Right, and that is further extending the API that we already have. So there's a RCP server that, or RPC, and forget me, man, I didn't go to school. I went to school for business. I didn't go to school for computer science. So there's these terms I'm not going to memorize it. I know what it is. But anyways, so there's a server, RPC server, inside the code. And it's what the blockchain explorer is using to communicate with the node. I believe in extending that to further open the blockchain to further APIs so that we can create APIs in a hybrid fashion. Not fully centralized and not fully decentralized, but hybrid solutions that kind of open up the API to other things. So you can actually have a mobile wallet that you don't need to run as a full node to copy everything, because you can kind of trust in a central node, a remote node, and have access to what you want to access. And also, when we work on extending those functionalities, we can extend the messaging capabilities and functionalities with that two-way authentication. And next thing you have your crypto messenger, your web version. And that's something we're going to cherish at that point, celebrate. We're all going to be on there. I'm going to send you guys messages. And after that comes a roadmap, group chat, everything else. And then we talked about the hub. So yes.
Nice. So what you're saying is, as soon as you add WebRTC, then we're going to do our next interview on Drop.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah, as opposed to Zoom. That'd be so cool. Awesome. So this is exciting. Really excited for the program, for the project as it is right now. Sounds like RPC RPC is ideally the core competency of the developer that you'd like to invite onto the team today. There's kind of a need there. Any other languages or frameworks that would be helpful in terms of developers who want to come on board?
C++ is definitely a plus, if not too. Yeah, that's great, because we're still studying and learning. And when I say we, it's not just me and my buddy. There's other people too that I didn't mention, but they're not far enough with the code for me to say that they're contributing at this point. They're still studying and researching. There's a learning curve. Even if you're a capable programmer coming from any kind of background, there's a learning curve to this. And you have to kind of look at the code, look at how it's done, how it's tailored for that blockchain, and go back and forward. In fact, some of these active projects that are doing so great, and I look up to them, are doing the same thing too. They're meeting with their developers and asking the developers to really create diagrams and study the code so they can further extend on it. However, most of them are going that route to create a product. xDrop is already a product. So we have one, we're improving it, and while we're improving it, we're using strategies and paths to further extend the usability and utility.
That's so cool. I applaud you for being willing to tackle a problem of usability and user experience and additional functionality. And I totally agree wholeheartedly. There are not enough projects that care, right? It's just forks upon forks upon forks and
They might
ICOs.
care, but there's a
nothing.
disconnect. I don't know why there's a disconnect. You don't see nice GUIs. Bytecoin came with a nice GUI, nice GUI, and it was awesome. This was great.
Well, and
that team did it deserves to be credited and commended.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And I'm planning on doing very similar things. This website is something that we spun in a couple of hours. But as far as graphics and being able to connect with users, you gotta gamify it. It has to be appealing. It has to look nice. They're gonna stare at it. It's their wallet. You're asking them to send messages and communicate through it. Don't make it ugly. Worry and care about it. Have their little notifications. Care about the little fine details, like Steve Jobs would say. It took him forever, probably many hours, if not days, spent on just the little icons that became so big with iPhone. So little things you can see, details that I've spent personally enough time to make sure that we got it right. Like the little notification thingy with a number in there, the little red circle with a number in there. Having that on the icon, so when you're running the GUI wallet, you get a message, you actually see, oh, I got one new message or two messages. So it's good because it means that we care. Having desktop notifications. Right now, you run a GUI wallet, someone sends you a message, you get a desktop notification. If you're running Windows, Mac doesn't have that. You get a desktop notification like major apps do, like Discord does and Telegram does. Why? Because we ought to. It's a messenger. It needs to have that. We're not just advertising a project, clearly making a roadmap for you to believe in. No, this is something that already is there, and it's going to only get better. So Please use it. I welcome everybody to use the wallet. Join our Discord server. Do a wallet exchange so we can have some conversations in it. Last night, we released version 6. So some changes have been done. Messages are now free if you're not storing it on a blockchain. It's working great, and I expect it to continue to work to be great. If you want to store it, you have to pay a fee because of spam. We don't want the network to be spam. So we can discuss that in detail later. But check out the new version and see how we're improving and how it's growing.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice. Okay, so let's go through this lightning round really fast. Got a couple more questions. This is important, but proof of work in general. Where do you think proof of work is headed?
It's headed where we want it to head. It depends on the usability. It depends on the communities. With Monero being a strong leader and other coins also being leaders in their own forks or versions of crypto node or proof of work or other algorithms. I'm not so familiar with some other ones, so I'm not going to mention them. Just to be fair, I'm not a know-it-all. I'm not at all. But they're all moving forward. If there's a reason, cause behind it, it will get changed and adapted and move forward. It's been working for me. If I have an average PC and I'm gaining 50, 60 drops a day on it, and drops are only 100 droplets to use, and that's working for me. It's going to continue to work, and I'm going to continue to do my best to find teams and work with teams that will continue to make it to work. So that's what the future of proof of work is going. I'm not going to talk negative about anything because I don't expect anything. It's really getting to know the communities behind it, and is there a valuable cause for them to keep using that?
Nice.
So you got to kind of get in there and see where is it being used, how is it being used, and who cares about it.
Very cool. Can I ask also related to that, if staking were proved to be a usable consensus model or master nodes or service nodes perhaps to assist in relaying some of the messages that you have going through your network, how hard would it be for your project to adapt?
If you asked me this a month ago, I'll be like, very hard. You asked me this a week ago, I'll be like, kind of hard. You asked me this last night and today, hey man, it's only getting easier. You have to understand, you have to know, you have to be connected with the community as a whole. You have to be in touch. You have to have the freedom. So when you're focusing on what's out there to kind of learn the technologies the whole community is using and building, then you get access to so much more. If you're slacking off, if you for whatever reason, you have a full-time job, for whatever reason that you can't afford to do that, then you're not going to be able to, kind of assimilate. And this is a fast-paced, fast-assimilating kind of environment. So yes, I've already looked at master nodes. I've already looked at some other projects that do use all these different examples. I've yet to look at the code differences, but I have all the tools and everything. Means this, and more importantly, the passion and time behind it to really take my time and keep going as I'm going, because things are getting faster and faster and better and better. So as soon as I see a need for a master node, or the team and resources, or the vision, because the vision comes first, to see it when we're going to have something like that, or then it's going to happen.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, and let me ask, these are the last two most important questions. Most important questions. So 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and you know how project development cycles are. It can be hard to forecast that far in advance. So win, lose, or draw, regardless of what happens with this project. And I hope, obviously, for my part, I hope any project that I interview with, I hope you succeed to the highest level of what that can mean for your project. But
I appreciate that.
5 to 10 years from now, looking back on this project and on the team and on the work that you've been doing, what do you hope people will remember when they look back?
Look at how much fun we are having. Don't forget that while everything is going on, we must have fun. You must love what you're doing. So if you ever look back 5 years ago, the first thing I think about is, was it a lovely 5 years or was it not? That's the most important thing. So make memorable, lovely, memorable memories of the present moment, so that 5 years from now, you look back and you're like, you were pursuing something you love. So for me, I'm already set. I'm pursuing something I love. I'm working with cutting edge technologies with some fabulous, fantastic people, working on ideas that would potentially change the world and not just saying it. And I want to continue to do what I got to do. And that's what I love.
Nice. Nice. Well, hey, nobody can accuse you of not loving what you do, and nobody can accuse you of not having passion for this project, man. So I think by that measure, it's going to be a successful 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, so, absolutely. We have, we're building the groundworks, and we already started on someone else's work, many people's work, and we're building on that. So it close the gap to people, the new users. Someone wants to come in and again drop in a web RCT, then bam, there it is. Drop in anything, a contact exchange, anything you really think about. Drop can be anything. That's what it's xDrop. Drop anything anywhere. And you have it. So whatever the concept of that is, eventually maybe drop in a memory. I don't know, but I want it to be me and you and not someone else involved. Me and the other person and no one else. That's not necessary. So we got to cover that ground. We cover that ground. Then I want it to be something powerful, but there's a sense of economy behind it, so it's self-sufficient. We've covered that ground. Great. The rest is the practicality, and I want it to be a platform. We're definitely going to need funding for that. That's definitely what this roadmap is about. And we're going to definitely tackle that. But while we're doing that, let's have fun and let's produce. Because as much as I like to have a roadmap and milestones, you need to have an updated version of an experience every now and then, especially with feedback. So a good developer, a good active team releases quite frequently, but not too frequent where user base kind of feeling too behind, too fast, but enough so they can see that care. They can see that it's moving forward, new additions are coming, and that's how I've built communities before. I appreciate active projects.
Nice. So, and then here's the big question, and this is very, very serious question.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? Prepare yourself.
Let me sip my chocolate milk real quick.
You've watched the show too much. He knows me too well. But when were you going to pay me that 25,000 drop coin that you promised for this interview?
Well, yeah, that's a good question.
Okay. For anybody who's just tuning in, maybe you're not used to these interviews, here's the standard disclaimer. The standard disclaimer is that I do not extort bounties from people who I interview. And we mentioned it at the beginning of the interview. I didn't give you a list of questions, right?
Yes.
And
he's as real as he can get, folks. This guy means it. He's real. Subscribe to his channel. I'm telling everybody the same thing I would tell my family. If you care about cryptocurrency and new projects under development and what that means to the community, then definitely check Seth. Check him out, and it's definitely worth your while. And be active. Join these. Be a participant. Get on camera. Don't be shy. Wear sunglasses. It's okay. Change your names. No one really cares. Just be who you really are. Names don't define us. Looks don't define us. Be who you really are. Just talk about that.
Yeah, definitely agree. I appreciate the endorsement, and I'm hoping that I get more Anon projects on. I had Spot Me Coin, and now, I mean, I'm willing to do voice changing, whatever it takes for guests to feel comfortable, that there won't be reprisal or problems, right? Because these projects are, I mean, they're precious, right? These are fragile, I should say, at the earlier phases. So yeah, I think most community members will respect that for sure. But being open about what the goals are and the aims and the steps you're taking, so important. So
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
The kind of feedback I've gotten has put me into a place where I feel that there's different feelings inside the community. Some people kind of compare projects because there's so many projects out there with roadmaps that are ridiculous, that haven't really been thought out, or they're not sincere and transparent. And so people kind of expect something like that. But if I'm sitting here and right now, as of right now, I'm the only one that's going to run back to the computer and start developing, and I cannot vouch for anybody else that's on that degree, I'm not going to make promises to people outside of my capabilities. However, I can look at this roadmap and I can laugh and change it right now. I just want people to also be surprised. Like the last night's update was an actual early one. It was a big surprise. We're able to actually have those free messages going on board without actually compromising the network. That was awesome. That's big. We're going to see more changes like that. You're going to see more. And I want people to see that, because that's what matters. That's an exciting project. And when more developers come, and I'm spending my nights now working with them, you can see that too. And that matters too. So we grow, and that's how it happens.
Very, very cool. Well, Rez, we've got the link to the Discord down in the chat box. I'll add that to the description as well. Got the link to the project. Anybody who wants to get a hold of Rez, clearly you can do so over in Discord. Rez, you're active, right? And they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm always on.
Okay, so guys, the conversation will just continue, but it's going to continue over in Discord. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Perfect.
And yeah, we're gonna call it a day. Rez, appreciate you.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay.
Bye.
like a